Hey everyone, so I'm going to attempt to show you all I know about hosting and moderating Zoom meetings. I've been doing this for years and years in my online programs, and I've really got it down to a science, and I just want to show you how you can have organized and interactive and effective Zoom meetings, whether you're using it for a yoga class or a bunch of your friends want to get together and have a happy hour, a family meeting, or you want to use it for your business or teaching a class, anything. The possibilities are kind of endless. And if you know how to be organized with it and moderate it properly, it will go very, very smoothly. So the first thing, you have to have a Zoom account. I have a paid account. You don't need to have this, but the free one only allows you to have a 40-minute class and then, or a 40-minute call, and then it will cut you off and hang up. If you have the paid one, it can be as long as your little heart desires. So I have the paid one, and it's awesome. So when you are in your account, you can do this like two ways. You can schedule a meeting. So I'm gonna pull my computer over here. So you can just host a meeting, which this is right here. And I always do video on right away. And so I'm clicking on that and it's launching. I wanna open it in Zoom meetings. And it's launching right now. So I'm starting a meeting. And I wanna join with computer audio. Great, so now I have a meeting here. I can enter, can make it bigger there. So look, hi, I'm doing a Zoom meeting. So if you want to do it this way, you can. And so if you want to share it, here's the invite button right here. And then you click on it. And then I always just copy the invitation. It'll copy it to my clipboard, and then I'll go in Messenger and send it there. And this is your own meeting, and so it's the same number every single time. If you want to record it, so you could send it to people, here's the record button right here, and you just click record, and you can either record it onto your computer or onto the cloud. So that's really helpful. You could also tell participants that they can use this chat function right here. And so, because I'll tell you something about moderating in a little bit, but that chat function is important because people can talk and ask questions while they're muted. Here's the manage participants. It's only me. If you are on a call and you want to raise your hand, or if you want to tell people how to raise their hand, they can click manage participants and come over onto their thing, and there's a little part to raise their hand. But that's not how I do it in my calls, and I'll show you what I do. So I'm going to end this meeting. End meeting for all. Woohoo! Did it. Okay, so now the other way to do it is I'm going to go back to Zoom. And I have to go into my account again because it signs me out every time. And then I could schedule a meeting. So right here it says schedule a meeting. You click on it. And then you name your meeting. You could put a description. You decide when the time is. How long is it going to be? Is it a recurring meeting? Is this something you want to do every week? Registration, I never require it. I also, for the meeting password, I uncheck it because I'm usually doing public things. If you want to do a private thing and you want them to have a password, you can put the password in here and it'll come in the invitation for them to type in the password, but I always take that off. For video right here, I say host on because I always want my video to be on. And then participant, it depends on the group, but I usually have off, and then I allow them to turn their camera on themselves. For audio, I allow both because some people just call in, and so it could be telephone or computer. For meeting options, you can enable people to join before the host. I never do, so they have to wait for me. Mute participants upon entry. This is very important. If you have a really big group of people, you're going to want to mute participants upon entry. Otherwise, when they start, it's going to be really loud and everyone's going to get frustrated and then they're going to leave. Enable a waiting room is cool, except that The problem is that when people join late, you then have to go in and it'll like pop up that they're waiting and you just hit accept. I find that's kind of harder in a big group because then you're constantly accepting people, so I don't have a waiting room. Record the meeting automatically if you want to do that. Otherwise, as I showed you before, you can just click record when you're ready. I have the paid one, so I can have alternative hosts, but if you have the free one, you can't do that. So that's how you do it. So here are some important things to know for moderating. Mute everybody right away. And when you go to the manage participants, well, first I showed you how when they're entering, they're muted. There's also a button when you have manage participants and that thing comes up on the side. You can click mute all or unmute all. That's very important functions that I use a lot. So I'll start off the call by introducing myself if people don't know who I am and just kind of stating the intention for the call, how it's going to work, so everyone's really clear and they know what's going to happen. And then when it's time and I want to hear from people, I'll say, who would like to share? Raise your hand. And instead of using the raise your hand function, which you can totally use, I just have people go like this and I could see them. And then on their little square, if you put your mouse over their square, you'll see where it says mute and unmute, and you just unmute them and then they're able to talk and share. And I find that makes it super organized. They're also not sharing if they don't want to share. And it just gives a nice flow. Nobody else is talking when you're doing it, and you're able to just hear that person share their thing. I also really like it. So if you're say you're doing a live concert and you finished your song and you want to hear everybody applaud for you, you can go to the participants and click unmute all, and then you'll hear everybody on the call and they'll be going, woo, that was so good, that's so awesome. And then when you're done, you could hit mute all and then play your next song and it's silent and people can only hear you. That is my most important part. I sometimes have it where I allow participants to mute and unmute themselves, and sometimes I don't. If it's a group of people that are kind of confused by Zoom, they might be muting and unmuting themselves like throughout the call, and it's really distracting. And so I like to take it into my own hands and unmute and mute for them. And I find that the participants are actually grateful for that because they don't really have to think about anything. They just get to participate and be there. And then if there is something they want to share, they could either use the raise a hand function and a notification will come up, or they can go like this and wave their hands and you can see them and unmute them and talk to them. Somebody asked me if it's distracting if somebody is like coming late or they have to leave and come back. It's not at all, especially if you have where they're muted upon entry. They will just all of a sudden their face will pop up and it won't distract anything. I also like switching between speaker view and gallery view. So if I'm interviewing just one person, I'll put it on speaker view, and then whenever they're talking, I just see their face instead of everybody's faces who are on the call. And then if it's like, I don't know, say you're doing a yoga class and you want to be able to see everybody that's doing everything so you can offer corrections, then I would put it in gallery view, and then you could see everybody, and then you can be like, oh, Michelle, and like give Michelle a correction, and then you could unmute her line to see if she received that correction. So the more you do it, the easier it will be. But my number one advice for moderating Facebook groups, or not Facebook, Zoom groups, is that you mute everybody and then unmute them when it's time for them to talk. And then if you want to have a group like woohoo or something like that, then you can unmute everybody and then mute them all again. So I hope that helped. If you have some other questions, then please leave them below. But Zoom is pretty simple. I am definitely technology challenged, and I use Zoom all the time, and it's very user-friendly and very easy. So I would also say, like, if you're going to do a class and your first thing is with 20 people, maybe try it with like 2 of your friends and see how that goes. And then maybe some more questions will pop up and you can ask me. So I hope that helped, and I love you all. Have a great day. Bye.